Hey, everybody. This is the Monday night 24-hour marketer mastermind. I think this is so cool. We're going to be having a special guest today, and that is going to be Mr. Dave Reineke. Because last week we talked about having a story, and I got to share my story a little bit, even though I feel like I can't really tell a good story, and because I'm not used to talking about myself. And when it comes to somebody else, it's so easy to just say how awesome somebody is. And this dude is freaking awesome. And his story is even amazing. Like, he's from a third world country. It's like, how does someone uh, do it in a third world country? Because literally, if he can do it, I mean, it's amazing. Like, we all have it in us for sure. So I just wanted to say, we also have Pops as a guest. Pops, you want to say hi? Find the mute button.
As soon as I turn off my mute button. Yeah, hi everyone. Glad you could make it.
With this creepy mask in the background.
That's a lovely mask. Would it be better if I put hair on it and a beard? It'd look just like me. That's what I'll look like when I'm probably about 80, when I lose all my hair.
So
And
Dave, you want to say
right
hello also? Oh. Dave, you want to say hello also?
Hey everybody, it's great to be here. I'm so honored. Thank you for having me.
I love it. So Dave, I know a little bit about your background, but actually I don't know if you're going to touch on when you and Ryan finally met after 2 years. That video is amazing. I don't know if anybody saw that. It's super awesome. But yeah, go ahead if you want to start with your story. That'd be great.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Where to start? Well, I mean, you starting with that video. That was probably 2.5 years in the making, in a sense, because when I first got started, originally, I did contact Ryan. I'll get into that when I actually go to the point when I did, but I kind of want to give you guys a bit of background as to where I come from. I live in South Africa, and for those of you who don't believe me, you don't have to if you don't want to, but I am wearing the South African, SA Rugby, we call them jerseys. This is a shirt, but, we sometimes call them jerseys. And, just to show you that it's also quite a different country, you guys have cream soda, right? Our cream soda is green. Take a look at that. All right, that's just weird, right?
Antifreeze.
Antifreeze. You always call it antifreeze. That's right. And so I do live in South Africa. For those of you who think that I don't, I absolutely do. And for the longest time, when I left school, I've always wanted to do something where I could do what I wanted to do for the longest time. But the problem is, the moment you get out of school, you suddenly realize, wait a minute, I got to make money, and you get your first job, and you suddenly realize that it's not the same. Everybody's ordering you around. It's not a really cool feeling at all. And I suppose I just got used to it after a while. And, I did a lot of jobs, I've been a belting technician when I used to skive and spice belts together. I have worked as a junior electrician in a company that used to produce bombs. I mean, that's just weird. I was a vendor, like I used to walk the streets and sell things. That I'll never do again. I've never waited tables ever because that's just, I cannot even, I don't have the patience. But I've done a lot of things. I've been a network technician. I've been a computer technician. I've worked and helped build computers and that sort of thing. I've done that for the majority of what I do. I've even gotten kicked out of jobs because that was my interest, and they politely asked me to leave, and so I did. And I've also done youth work. That's been the better part. That's been a really big chunk of my life. I've done youth work for the best part of most of my life part-time. And I just really wanted to be in a position where I could do that type of thing full time, and I do have a plan to get there within 4 to 5 years, where I can be absolutely financially free to do that. But getting back to how I started in this industry, it was quite interesting because whenever you would look for something, to do, you've always got this thing about money that you need to start. And it's a lot harder when you go online because everybody's talking in dollars. And just so you know, the American dollar, when I got started, was roughly 10 times stronger than the rand, R-A-N-D. And the rand, so, $1 would get you 10 rand. And so when somebody said to me, join this opportunity for like 25 bucks, that's like 250 rand. And that's a huge chunk of a salary because, just 1,000 rand is a quarter of a salary in some jobs. And in most jobs, when I say, kind of the lower end spectrum, when you don't have degrees and all of that sort of thing. And I got interested in this field by a friend of mine who had started to work online because he had gone overseas and come back with some money, and he started to work being an affiliate and selling stuff on the internet. And I really wanted to know how to do it. The problem is he couldn't give me all the information he knew, because I think when people get started, they kind of don't want to give you all the information. At that time, I thought he didn't want to tell me because he thought that perhaps if I did it somehow, that I would be taking competition away from people. And I understand that, and that's just part of growing and being new on the internet. So I had a real interest in making money online. And then when I started to investigate it further, I found the guy on the internet called Jeff Walker. And if you don't know who he is, he's the guy that actually started list building on the internet. He's the guy that actually started this whole trend of building a list. He is one of the very beginning guys who did that. And what he used to do is he used to write these manuals on. He used to do research into the stock market, and it was just a hobby of his. He would go on the stock market, do some research, and write some reports on it. And he was going into school or college to get a degree so he could support his family. They were broke. They didn't have any money at all, and I think he had saved enough money to go and do like a quarter of a semester. But before this happened, he had this idea that what if he could send out a report about the stock market to his friends and family on a list. He was saying there was like 17 people on the list, and 3 of those people were him. It was his email address, his wife's, and another spare email address. So he had like 14 emails going out to his friends and family. And what he did is he just said, let me just write this email out, send a report out, send this thing out saying, look, I will give you a report for like 20 bucks. You just send me $20 in the mail. And this is before PayPal, this is before eBay, this is before we know the internet as it is today. There wasn't any YouTube. I'm not even sure. Google wasn't around. There was nothing like that. We just had the very basic systems online. Anyway, he sent this email out, and the day before he was leaving, this is when he did this, and when he woke up the next morning, he kind of got ready for college. It was about to step out the door, and then he thought, well, let me just check my emails quickly. So he checked his email, and he made I think it was like 120 bucks or something. It was the first, he just, that's how much he made. He was very, very perplexed by this because people had responded to what he had said. So he went to college, and if you know Jeff Walker at all, if you've watched any of his stuff, he's a very, very calm guy. He doesn't get excited about anything. It's just his demeanor. He's a very friendly person, but he's not, Anyway, so he went to college, he sat down, and while he's waiting for the lecturer to walk in, he's looking out the window. And it's so vivid in my mind, this whole thing, because he was telling the story, and it's never changed. He's always told the same story. So he's looking out the window, And as he's looking out the window, he's saying, you know, if I could do this once, I could do it again. And right then, as the lecturer was about to start lecturing, he just stood up and walked out of the room. And the rest is history. And he built his entire business on building a list and that sort of thing. And he's developed such an amazing product, you know, which is really, really great. But he was one of my first inspirations for getting started online. And this kind of got me going and thinking about, I really want to do this. So I started looking around on the internet through YouTube, like many of us do, and I think I typed in make money online or something, and I found Ryan, my sponsor's video, and it said something about, you want to make money online, you know, click the link below. It was very, very short. It was so stupidly simple. It was just say, click the link below. So I clicked the link, and I went to the page, and I watched it, and he was promoting a system that you could make money on the internet for free. You know, you could do this for free. And I thought, well, for free, I can afford free. I mean, come on, I want to do this. So I went and ahead and I applied. I filled in all the information. But then nothing was working because it could not apply to my country. South Africa could not partake in this particular program. So I emailed Ryan and I said, hey, Ryan, man, I really want to get this thing going, but the problem is I can't. It won't allow me to. And he says, really? So we both sent emails out to the company to find out if I could do it. They just sent a reply saying, no, you can't. We even thought about going through another server on another country so I could look like I was coming in from another country. It still wouldn't work because I needed, you know, you need credit checks and all of that stuff, so the social security numbers and all of that stuff. So that wasn't working. I said, man, I really want to make this work. And that's when he said to me, you know, I got this other business that really works well. And I said, really? And he said, yeah. He says, and he showed me like snapshots of what he was doing. And the reason I knew that he was real, okay, partly because of the fact, you know, that he was emailing me, but he actually got on a Skype like chat with me. So I was talking to him face to face. And I saw he was a regular person. I mean, he was, you know, living in a house and everything. He wasn't a millionaire by any means, but he was having success with the system. And I thought, man, you know, it's just something inside of my head just went, if this guy is doing it, surely I can do this. You know, I mean, what's the difference? He just lives in a different country. So I said, what is the system? And he tells me it's this, you know, Empower Network that we're involved in. So I said, how much is it? And he said, it's like really cheap, Dave. It's like $25. You can buy like 3 cups of coffee. And I went, 3 cups of coffee? Okay. I could probably buy about, you know, 200 cups of coffee with that amount of money if you gave me, you know, to go and fetch it. He said, what do you mean? He says, how much is a cup of coffee at Starbucks? So he was like, it's about, you know, $7 a cup. So 70 Rand. 70 Rand. Okay? So imagine if a cup of coffee was $70. No. I said, well, that's exactly what it's like for me. So I said, okay. I said, how much? He said, $25. I said, okay, $25. So I actually went to some people. I spoke to like my mom and my dad about it, and I was talking to my sister and my friends and everything. And my dad actually said to me, you know what? He said, you know, here's 250 Rand. Go ahead and put this in your business. And I went, really? And he says, yeah, absolutely. So I took the money and I put it in, and then I clicked that buy button. So I was really excited because I was getting started. I clicked the buy button and I read all the fine print and it says $25 every month. And I went, every month? I've got to come up with this every month? Okay, 250 Rand every month? Are you insane? So I look a bit further and then it says $19. You know, for the affiliate fee, and I went, whoa, hold on a second, and I'm getting cold feet now. well, I'm getting really shaky. And I remember Ryan telling me, he says, Dave, you've got to get out of your comfort zone. You've got to remember this is a business. You're investing in your business. It's a monthly thing. If you started a regular business, opening some store, I'd be spending way more money than I would right now. And that's true. I'd be spending like, 10,000 Rand just to keep my doors open, which is crazy money. But this wasn't as crazy. So I said, okay, fine. I'll just have to find a way to get the money. So pay my 25, then my 19, and then I found out I needed an autoresponder, and I nearly broke down after that. It was like another $15. I was thinking, gee, I've got to come up with $65 every single month, and that was like, 650 Rand. Or even now it's like 1,000 Rand because of the exchange rate a month. And that's like a quarter of a salary for me to just be in the business. But you know what? I made a decision, and I said, I'm going to do this. I'm really just going to find a way to get this money every single month. And I remember speaking to a friend of mine about this, and I was saying, I've got this new opportunity that I'm really trying out, and the guy's really genuine. I know it's real. I just gotta find a way to work it. And so we were just talking, and I said, you should try for like 6 months or a year. And I just thought, the hell with that. I'm not doing this if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this until I die. I actually said that to him, and he was like, really? And I said, absolutely. So I started. Plugging into the system. But, this is where things get a little weird, because when I started out, I was at the basic level of the business. And Ryan kept on encouraging me to get some training under my belt and to buy some training. But the training was outrageous. I mean, for me anyway. So if I were to spend $500 on a product or $1,000 on a product, and I told anybody that in my country, they would think I was out of this planet. I mean, you've got to understand, e-commerce in this country hardly exists. It's only kind of coming around now. But, to pay 15,000 Rand for a particular product just wasn't even comprehensible. So I really wasn't there yet. But he did give me some basic principles that I could use, and he started to teach me his video marketing, which is very good, all right. And at the time when I was getting started, because Ryan had just started a couple of months before me, so we were both fairly new, and he was just teaching me what he knew that was working for him. So I started to do videos like he was doing, except I was making videos the way I thought everybody wanted to hear them, just like most people do when they start out in video. Hi, this is Dave. I live in South Africa. My favorite color is green. I really like dogs. And by the way, I want to talk to you about... And before you even get to that part of the video, people just click off. So I knew nothing about video. And I was getting nowhere. And it's not like I wasn't working hard enough. I was pumping out these videos like crazy. I was doing like, 10, 20 videos a day, just doing everything I could to possibly work. But nothing was working at all. But the one thing that I was getting really good at in that process of working was ranking my videos. I mean, I could rank a video in YouTube in I could rank it in 30 seconds. I could get it on the top page of YouTube. I knew the system so well. And why? Because I was doing something over and over and over again. So I was harnessing a skill, all right? And I got so good at it that people were saying to me, Dave, if I pay you so much money, can you rank my videos for me? And I said, sure. And I got paid from that. So I was learning a skill and using it. So what had happened when I started to produce these results, I started to explore different ways of ranking. So I would look for views and getting likes and that sort of thing. And I was hunting all sorts of websites so I could get better at what I was doing. And I came across an advert that said, if you pay me $25, I will post 25 ads for you on Craigslist. And I just thought, wow, because I couldn't post on Craigslist, or at least I thought I couldn't. So I got hold of this person and I said, look, I try to haggle. I said, I'll pay you $5 for 5 ads. And he says, no, $25. So I said, okay, fine. So I managed to scramble the money together, and I paid him the money. And he said, look, wait 12 days, and then your ads will start working. So I said, great. So he sent me a PDF with all of the proof that he had done after the videos were up on Craigslist. And I waited, well, when I waited the 12 days, he sent it to me afterwards. Then I started to see something that I'd never seen before. I started to get leads. And if you don't know what a lead is, it's a capture page that you have online that you get people to put in their email address, and they put in the email address, they click on the link, and they go and see the opportunity that you have presented before them, whatever it is, affiliate program, business op, whatever the case is. But I started to get leads. I started to get emails. And before I'd got like 1 or 3 maybe a week, maybe even 1 just a week. And I started to see 10, 15 emails coming in that one day. This whole process that I went through took me 8 months because I never took hold of the training that was provided inside of the system. And after those 8 months, I started to see these leads coming in through the Craigslist training, the Craigslist adverts that were going out. So I watched these leads coming in, and I got my first sale. And I tell you something, if you've been working for 8 months solid, and then suddenly you try something and it works, where you get a sale because you're getting 15 leads, you just get 1 sale. I tell you something, I mean, I say this because maybe you can relate to this, or maybe you will relate to this, but I broke down. You know, I wept. I was so emotional because I had put so much work into this, and I really believed that I could do this because I just thought, there's something I'm doing wrong. What am I doing wrong? And I kept working and working and working at something. So I concentrated really hard on putting myself together, first of all, and then, of course, for a few weeks after that, actually for a week, I started to get these sales coming in. So every day I would get a sale and get a sale and get a sale. And then suddenly Craigslist decides, you know what, we're gonna just pull out all the stops and we're gonna change all the rules. And they took every single one of my ads off. All right. Well, at least it weren't working because they weren't ranking as high, if you know how Craigslist works. So I wasn't getting any leads anymore, and the only thing that I had to do was video, because that's the only thing I knew. So what I did after that was I tried to contact this person again, but I couldn't find his email address. For some reason, it was lost, and I couldn't contact him again. But I did have the PDF that he had sent me. So all I did was I went through that PDF, and I clicked on each link, and I looked at the ad. I saw the title. I saw the body. At that time, you could use images and clickable links, and I saw everything, and I just thought to myself, and this is exactly what went through my head. I said, here's a method that works. All I need to do is to do exactly what he did, but just make it different. Okay? So, you know, come up with a similar title, come up with a similar body, come up with similar images, come up with, you know, and put that in Craigslist. But my next hurdle was, how could I post on Craigslist? And I couldn't, because if you try and go to Craigslist in my country, it'll say, sorry, you don't live here, it's not going to happen. So I did a lot of research, and I tried to figure out how you could actually post on Craigslist. And by the way, you can actually do it now. If you just go to, you know, you got a Fiverr, people can actually do it for you, or whatever the case is. But for me, I decided I was going to learn how to do it. So for a few weeks, I really studied how to do the Craigslist. And I finally cracked the code. I finally figured out how to do it, how to go through a proxy and how to get numbers and how to get all of that stuff. And I started to post exactly what this guy did. And what happened? I got leads and I got sales. They weren't coming in as crazy as they were before in the beginning, but I started to build on what I knew, and I started to perfect the skill. And I got so good at it, I got like 60 ads running at the same time. It was crazy. Back then you could do crazy things. And those adverts were just working for me and working for me. And then they just pulled the plug again and got rid of all my ads. So I was at zero again, and I thought, what the heck am I going to do? Because now I couldn't post on Craigslist at all. So what I did was I said, you know what, the only other method that works for Ryan is video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to that, and I'm going to study somebody who's really good at it. And I decided I was going to look at the leaders that were making videos on you know, the program that Ryan was using. And I looked at what they were doing. And I found somebody that was really, really good at their video marketing. In fact, they had produced a course, which they took down later. But I decided to go through that course, and I put my own spin on it, but I started to learn the principles of video. So get their attention in the first 5 to 7 seconds. All right, don't dilly-dally about your name and your favorite ice cream and that sort of thing. Just tell people what they need to hear. And so I would start to break that down and to learn that exact method. And it's the same thing I did with the Craigslist ad. I just said, here's somebody that's good at what they do. All I need to do is duplicate it and put my own spin on it. And then just do it over and over and over and over and over again. So I started to do the video. And back then we were doing something called bait and switch. Okay, so we would say, hi, I know you're looking at this product. You know, you want to make some money online. I want to tell you that you don't need to buy this product to make any money, and but I've got a great opportunity for you. So somebody would look for a product, and then I would just give them this whole spiel, which I really wasn't comfortable with. I didn't really like giving people that whole bait and switch feel. I wanted to give them value. And the one product I came across time and time again on the products that we were looking at was binary options. And I had done trading before. So I knew that these binary options that they were promoting were, in fact, scams. They weren't real. They were just promoting hogwash. You can make money in a month and make yourself a millionaire. Just stuff that you know doesn't make any sense. And if you've been in the trading industry, you know that any trader worth his salt is never going to guarantee you any sort of income. They're always very cautious. And so I knew straight away that these guys were scams, and I decided I was going to do reviews on those particular products. And I was going to be doing something good for the community because I was providing value. And that's when I developed that method that I've taught in the past called SAM, where you do reviews on binary options. Now, I mean, it might have been something else. I might have been a really good web designer, and there are lots of programs that don't really work as well, so I could get reviews on that, but it's the same principle. But that is how I started out. And what happened is, the thing that got me to where I am today is the stream of consistency that I just constantly kept on going. I just constantly made it work for me. And, you know, some people laugh and think, oh, that was crazy. There's no way you could have pumped up 20 videos a day. Or, you know, I did 50 videos in one day. I was so dedicated to what I wanted to do. I would just make videos until I dropped. It was that crazy. And I've got so many videos out there, I can't even remember the channels. But I would make videos time and time and time and time and time again. Whatever somebody told me, I would just double. And I would make sure that I was at my computer all the time working this business. And in the beginning, it was tough for me because I was working part-time jobs and that sort of thing, and full-time jobs, so you have to work on the hours that you have. But I just made it absolutely certain that I was going to do this. And I worked like a dog. I worked really, really hard. And they call it a grind. They call that I call it your crying time, when I worked really, really hard for like 6 months to a year, where I just constantly worked all the time, to a point now, 2 years later, 2.5 years later, where I have made so many videos, being consistent with that strategy, that I get viral sustainability. And what viral sustainability means is throughout the year, you know, because videos are seasonal, they come out throughout the year. I always get views and I always get people opting into my list. And because I'm providing people value and I'm being real, I'm not being fake, people really respond to that. And so that is why I get, like, on average, it's about every 100 emails, I get like roughly 20 sales. Now, I know people find that hard to believe, but that is my average, you know, on a really good month. I mean, it might be a little less, but like the other day, I had 8 opt-ins and 6 sales in one day. All right, for one day, I had 2 opt-ins and 3 sales in one day. I still can't figure that one out. But the point is, you know, getting lots and lots of leads is a great thing. And if you want to go, you can buy leads, and you can go crazy if you've got the money. But unless you actually understand the business, it's not really going to be a good foundation for you. Now, what I mean by that, I mean, whenever you start a business, there's a couple of things you've got to get under your belt first. You've got to make sure that your system is set up, okay, so you understand the business. You've got to make sure that your emails are set up, your autoresponder is set up. You've got to have a good follow-up emails that are set up for you, that are ready to go. So if somebody opts into your email, you've got like 30 emails coming after that that's going to follow up on that person every single day or every second day. And then, of course, when people opt into your buyers list, you've got to have emails that you've got set up every day. If you buy yourself 10,000 leads and you make like 1,000 sales, or you make 100 sales, the problem is, if you don't have a good follow-up campaign or a good training campaign, they're just going to fizzle out. But the great thing about this business and Empower Network is we're encouraging you to get 5 a month, which is really, really easy if you just stick with consistent strategies. You get 5 a month, all right? Just get 5 a month. You can build a business that's solid, that's sustainable, and you can work with people so that you are there for them, all right? When you start off immediately and you buy yourself hundreds and thousands of leads and you're getting thousands and thousands of sales. I've actually seen this happen when somebody has got like 800 sales in one day. A month later, they got 3 people still active. You want to know why? Because they don't have a good follow-up campaign. They are not regular on Facebook. They're not making regular videos. They're not having Hangouts. They're not interacting with their list. This you can all do on autopilot, all right? But you've got to really have a good hold on your business in order to make it work. And the only reason I'm getting this momentum is because I am remaining consistent and people see me on my Facebook every single day. Take a look at Katie. Katie is on her Facebook making videos every single day. There is no doubt in anybody's mind, if they watch Katie, that she is actively working on her business. Same thing with Pops, working on his business. And I see Wade here. Wade does the same thing. He's actively working with his team. Jeff as well, making sure that they reach their team, being seen and heard. If you're not being seen and heard, your whole business is going to dissipate. All right. The only way that you can really make sure that you are going to start getting consistency and seeing results is if you start setting an example. So make a decision right now. Okay. If you're going to start your business, start it on the right setting. Understand that you're not going to get success overnight. Understand that you're going to make. You're going to have to make sacrifices, all right? This is a business. This is not some hobby, all right? This is not something you're just going to willy-nilly do. If you want to set a great example, be consistent. Make sure that you are showing people that you are there every day through your emails, through your blogging, through your videos, through your Facebook. Make sure that people know that you are there, all right? It's paramount to your business, because I have had people join my business and have seen me work over 6 months before they've joined. And some of you who are starting out in the first 2 weeks are not going to see that, because you're going to say, well, I've worked this thing for 3 weeks. I've been blogging every day. I've been making videos every day. I'm not getting results. It's because you've got this mindset of instant gratification. We live in a world of instant gratification. You want a pizza, you order it. You don't just drive to it. You just phone and order a pizza. You know, you want to watch a movie, you get it instantly. You know, we've got Netflix, we've got everything. Instant gratification is the way that we've been programmed. You have to unprogram yourself and start thinking in terms of getting results and understanding that they're going to come later in life. All right? This is not a get-rich business. All right? This business works if you are consistent. And if you're not prepared to be consistent, you should not be in this business. All right? Every single person that I've seen produce results have one thing in common, and that is they never give up, they are always persistent, and they are constantly having this thing on their mind. All right? I've had to alienate certain factors in my life. I don't like watching the news. I try and get rid of that. I don't like reading the papers. I don't even want to hear about it. Whenever I hear about negativity, whenever I hear about somebody having a problem with somebody else, I don't want to hear it. Why? Because that just adds to the problems in my business. If you are surrounded by negativity, you are going to have huge problems. You ever heard people say something like, nothing works for me. I just do stuff and it just doesn't work out. Why does it always happen to me? Well, think about the people you're surrounding yourself with. You know, all the people, you know, you complain about the boss, you complain about this, you complain about that. Stop complaining. If there's one exercise I can give you, and that is stop talking about yourself, okay, in the form of problems. So stop complaining. Start helping others. The biggest thing that can help you get out of that slump is to start building up others. And I mean building up everybody around you. Because the moment you start, you know, putting negativity into your life, you are poisoning your life. And all you're going to do is just get the same results over and over again. And you've got to start breaking those habits. All right? So one of the things Katie does, and I commend her for this because I think it's such a great thing, and that is this 21-day video challenge. And one of the reasons Katie does this, if I'm not mistaken, Katie, is that it sets a habit in place, because if you do something for 21 days, it is inbred in you, okay? It's just something that you keep on doing. So, you know, if that was me, 21 days, what I hear is 42 days. Double it. All right, just do something over and over and over again. And that's part of the reason why Katie's doing this, to get herself into a rhythm, all right? And it's really a good habit. Man, I really went on, didn't I? I'm sorry, Katie. Do you have any questions?
No, you did fine. And Dr. Wade was just talking about speak your life into existence. That is definitely more 21 day. But nobody knows what that is. That's an audio that we have in our products. It's called Speak Your World into Existence. And it was at an event that David Wood said. I don't know how I heard it, but he just like made it as an assignment for in between the events. Like, listen to it for 21 days. And so I did, and it just changed everything. It really, really did. And if you think that you have heard it once before, or you know, like you have that mentality like, oh, I went through this product already and it didn't teach me anything. Well, it's because you weren't listening and you're probably searching for the secret. So what you want to do, like for me, I've listened in, I'm all in, and I've listened to the products at least, I'm on my 9th way through. And the reason why I do that is because every time I listen to it, there's something new. So with the Speak Your World into Existence, I've listened to it more than 21 days. I actually go back to it every time. It's like my motivational audio that I go to. Say if I'm like, oh, I really need some motivation, you know, and get some inspiration, is that that's my go-to. So.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I do when people start in this business and I get to have a conversation with them is to say, that one of the first things you have to do is to start listening to Speak the World into Existence every single day for like 90 days and listen to it every single day. And the reason you do is because you need to start thinking correctly in terms of success. You need to understand that it isn't just, it's about reaching for something and believing in yourself. A lot of this that I had was because Ryan, who was my sponsor, really believed in me as well. And you've got to really start having this form of self-belief that you can do something. And that's why we are big believers in listening to the Empower Hour. That's why we go to these trainings. That's why we learn all the time, because we need to be fed. And if you going into this with the attitude of I already heard this, you see, you're doing this again. You've got to start using this information for other people. How great would it be if you could present this information out to somebody else, even if you know it? A lot of people think, if you know a subject really well, let's just say, that you build cars or something, all right? Or even with me with computers, I build computers, I know how they work. And somebody said to me, Dave, do you want to teach, how to build a computer? And I'd say, oh, that's not a problem. I know everything I need to know. And then suddenly you're presented with the situation and you have no idea how to even broach the subject. What the heck am I going to talk about? Am I going to talk about the parts? Am I going to talk about what they represent? Am I going to start with binary? Am I going to start with, all of all of that stuff? And it's really hard to teach to somebody else. And why? Because you haven't taught it. So you need to practice, and you need to start getting good at it. Because once you understand something and have taught it a few times, it really does become second nature to you. So I would encourage every single person, if you're in this business because, you want to become rich quickly, this is not the place for you. If you want to make this business work and see the power of it, you've got to have the mindset like I did when I got started, that I am not going to give up. I am just not going to give up until I die. That's when I give up. And when you have that mentality and you say that to yourself time in and time in and time and again, it's going to help you carry on. There was a phrase I used to say when I first got started, even when I met Ryan, and I said, keep on keeping on. And that's something I've always believed in, and it's something I put at the bottom of my emails. It's something I said whenever I got on a Hangout, keep on keeping on. There wasn't a day that went by when I did not say it or think it. And now I've said it so often, giving up isn't even an option for me. It's not even a thing. So you've got to start programming your mind and start speak your world into existence, like Wade said. Do we have any questions?
No questions as yet. You're mesmerizing everyone. Nobody can think of a question.
Yeah. Let's just see. Does anybody have any questions at all? Should we have an awkward silence?
I'm okay with that. Make it all awkward.
As far as mindset goes, I started listening to stuff as I go to sleep. I put my headphones on when I'm going to sleep and plug it into my phone, and I put on Zig Ziglar, all of them. I switch around and I listen to it, and some of them are quite long, so I listen to them. Actually, I can fall asleep to them, and I listen to them when I fall asleep. I have not tried Speak Your World into Existence yet, though I didn't think of it, and I'm going to do that tonight, and probably for several nights, although I listen to it when I'm doing everything else, but not when I've fallen asleep. And you change your mindset that way too, as well as because it'll get into your subconscious as well, and you start thinking about that, and it'll help change, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing how that stuff actually does affect you. I mean, if I'm not listening to an inner circle, I'm either studying something or reading something or watching some sort of training video just so I can do something new. A lot of
Yeah,
people
and
say to me, yeah,
no, go ahead. A lot of people say to you what?
I was going to say, a lot of people will say, shoot, Dave, how did you, they might say, how did you come up with that idea? And it's because I've been watching other people opting into their list and getting ideas from them. And just because you can always try something new. There's always something you can do. And sometimes you just got to, it's weird though, because every single day now, I mean, I cannot help think about what I have to be thinking about something that's going to benefit my business. I have to.
Yep.
It's just like it's like eating. When
So,
you have.
yep.
Carry on.
Dr. Wade was asking what you guys are reading right now. What books?
No, you're right on point, Dave. I mean, you really hit on something there, because I've realized in the last, since early 2013, since I've been in Empower, I've never had a day off. It's always on my mind, because I knew that was the way out of where I came from.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right. I think I didn't even know. I never even asked you, Dave. I mean, you're just like me, where you just never had a day off, and you're going to do this until you die. Pretty much.
Sure.
I think that's a little extreme for me to say that, do it until I die, but it's pretty much true.
No,
I mean, it's
it
true.
is, right. That's right. I'm not gonna have shiny ball syndrome.
Exactly, and
books
I actually did have the shiny ball syndrome, because I had not only lack of confidence in myself, but I thought I had lack of confidence in the products, which was silly, because why did I stay in there in the first place? But then I made the decision to handcuff myself to success and choose one, and it was Empower. So, and I'm glad I did that.
Yeah. One of the books I can recommend that I read was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It really has a great insight into the way people think and the power that you have and the power that people give you in the way that you can respond to them. The one thing I'm fascinated by is human behavior, and how that 9 times out of 10 we have ulterior motives to what we're really saying. It's always interesting the way people react to you. If somebody, like for instance, normally when we hear people ask 101 questions, we think they're just being annoying. But that type of person who's asking 101 questions is really interested in what you have to say. Other people might sound like they're barking orders at you. It's because they're really interested in what you have to say. And some people, they take forever to get to the point that they want to tell you, and that's because they want to emphasize to you that they want you to be there to support them. That type of thing really does help to have an understanding of people, and How to Win Friends and Influence People is a great example of that. So that's one of the.
Another book is Think and Grow Rich. That's definitely
Napoleon Hill.
a Bible.
Yeah,
Bible
that's got
for
some.
entrepreneurs. Jamie had a question. Dave, what inner circle audio inspires you the most?
Inner circle audio that inspires me the most. Sure, there are so many, but the one that, I mean, I keep on talking about Speak the World, but the one that inspires me, I suppose, you know what? There's a lot. That is the one that's prevalent most, but I also enjoy Pat Patterson's one about don't you should treat your business like a business, not a hobby. It's a very good one. And also the power of video. There was another one done by, the furry hat guy. What's his name? Tom the furry hat guy. He did a video on the power of video.
I think he did a couple of them. Handcuff Yourself to Success, and then he's also shows how to be present and be kind of creative on Facebook.
What are some of the books you guys are reading, or some of the audios you're listening to?
Dr. Wade suggested 6 Months to Six Figures by Peter. How do you even say that last name? I'm really.
Vogue.
Yeah.
Vogue.
That's a new one for me too. And I think Jeff had one here, The Miracle Morning for Network Marketers. He highly recommends that. It's changed his life. That's pretty nice. I haven't heard that one either. Okay, so if you're brand new in the business, this is Dr. Wade asking, if you're brand new in the business and you don't know what the heck to do, what would you recommend to be your first step?
My first step, if you're brand new in the business and you want to know what to do to get started, like absolutely the very first thing you should do is to log into your Empower Network back office, click on the red icon on the right, and go through the 3 steps that has been presented to you. And if you don't understand them, go through it again. And if you still don't understand it, find somebody else to go through it with you so they can explain it to you. All right? That's what you need to do. You need to go through those 3 videos. And once you've gone through those 3 videos, then you need to start going through the training. And the training is listed on the right-hand side of the iPad section in Empower Network. That's what I would recommend people do.
And I can add some useful resources at the end of this Hangout.
Sure.
But do we want to, okay, The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz, Chris Pyre says.
Desmond Soon also talked about that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I listen to when I go to sleep.
I believe I have that one. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah.
It's in my list.
What I like to do with books is, because I'm not the biggest reader in the world, I like to find audios and I like to listen to them. And don't feel like, you might be thinking to yourself, well, I'm not a reader, so I don't fit in this category. I don't feel like that at all. If you listen better than what you read, that's fine too. I mean, blind people, when they tell you about the book they've read, they don't say, I listened to this book. Okay? So don't feel out of it. You can listen to audios on YouTube. YouTube are actually full of books that you can listen to as well.
Dr. Wade, what are your thoughts on lead magnets and bonuses for attracting leads and sign-ups, Dave?
Lead magnets. Can you define lead magnets for me? Maybe I'm not getting that. I've heard the term, but
just what do you use basically for attracting leads?
Bonus, like you just use the $7 sign up, or do you give people give something for free, or?
Oh, like that. In that
to get them to sign in.
Yeah.
David Wood said one time. I'm sorry, you can go ahead and answer, but.
No, carry on.
I was going to say David Wood once said that in his transition on getting people when he first started in the Empower Network or whatever, he just said he did the opposite. Instead of giving someone something for free to get them in the door, he's like, I'm not going to do anything for you. I'm not going to give you anything for free. I'm not going to give you anything, because what we have here is well worth it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I understand now. Lead magnet, sorry, I had a doff moment. We call it a doff moment. Yeah, you know what? For me personally, in my business, I've never used a lead magnet because what I do is I offer value, maybe in the same sense as David would. But for my experience, just for me personally, when I click on a PDF, I hardly read it. You know what I mean? It's like you click on it, you got it, and then you always come back to it later. It's that's just me, all right? It may not be everybody else, but I know that lead magnets do work, especially in a follow-up series. When you give something free to somebody, but I've never used lead magnets in the beginning of my capture page or anything. That's just me. But
We got about 5 minutes left.
all right, guys. I hope that was helpful to people. Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you Wade for jumping on, and for Jeff. Hey buddy, how you doing? Jamie, appreciate it. Andrew as well. Chris, really appreciate you guys. I hope that in some way this has helped you. I don't have all the answers. I just do what works. I'm still learning like everybody else, and only difference is just be consistent in whatever you're doing. So with that being said, we are going to say goodbye. I also just want to say that we are going straight on to the Empower Hour, where Chris Jones is going to be talking. So there's a link below this video that will take you to the Empower Hour straight from here. And don't forget to send out to your list, if you haven't already, about the Empower Hour, so that people can listen to it, because they've got some really good nuggets there. So that being said, Katie, you want to sign us off?
Yes, yes, absolutely, dude. I said, dude, your story is super inspirational. I actually learned, my takeaway from this was, there is something to be said about being persistent and being consistent, and you are the pinnacle of that, right? So it's just a can-do attitude. Like for me, you had 8 months. I had more than 8 months without seeing any success, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing at all. So, but we both have that in common. So I appreciate you, Dave. Thank you for being an awesome mentor of mine, by the way, and accountability partner. It's so awesome. You are the best. So, Dad, did you want to say anything? Dad, I mean Pops.
Yeah. Well, everything you said and more, Katie. Yeah, it's awesome. Dave, you have a great story. It's phenomenal what you've been able to accomplish being in a third world country, and the money that it took you to be able to do that, and especially coming to Las Vegas. That was awesome. Awesome meeting you in person and hanging with you. And everyone, thanks for being here. I'm glad to be here. It's awesome. This is one of the best hangouts I've ever attended. Thanks.
All right, everybody.